Hey, everybody, welcome to the Revenue Accelerator, where we're talking with experts who will help you rev up and generate more revenues in your business. Today, we have Mary Pellicer. Did I say that right?
Yes.
I hate when people do that to me too. So, Mary, tell us a little bit more about you, who you are, and why you are amazing at what you do.
Well, my name is Mary Pellicer, and I'm actually trained as a physician. That's what I started off
Are
wanting to
you
help
like a
people,
doctor, like a
like a
legit?
doctor. Yeah, like
Oh,
MD
Dr.
doctor.
Mary. Yeah.
And because my whole passion and purpose in life is helping people heal,
Hmm.
optimize their well-being, and flourish in life. That's what I'm really about. And what I noticed after I left conventional medicine, because I got frustrated with all the passing out of pills and stuff, and that doesn't really heal, and just my own journey and realizing, oh my gosh, I have this real entrepreneurial bent. I want to get out
Mm.
there and help women, and started to do that working with women with autoimmune diseases and chronic conditions, and did that for a number of years and started to learn how to do an online business, right? It's just in that time frame when it's starting, and educate myself. And I'm not a business person. We don't learn business in medical school. I'll just let you
It's
know.
okay. I have an
Right.
MBA. I didn't learn business and my
Oh,
master's in business administration either. So don't
oh,
feel bad.
I don't. But trying to learn all this stuff and taking business and realizing, oh, there's this thing called business coaching. Oh my gosh! And just taking the programs and doing that, and finding all the places that I was getting stuck online.
Mm.
And as I started to study, and what I actually do now, I work with an organization called the Institute for the Study of Peak States, and
Mm.
we research consciousness. Is like, how does consciousness work? And in particular, we're interested in peak states of consciousness, those amazing states when people, you just function as humans are. It is our birthright to function, and almost nobody does. So that's really my area of expertise. But as I got into it more and started to see many other women like myself who had this purpose and had this passion, we were trying to get online and do all the things that we need to learn to do, the technology, how do you just
Sales,
that
marketing, all that good
sales,
stuff.
marketing, hey, that dirty word, sales and marketing. And again, just I'm my own best client, and going, whoa, what's going on there? And then putting my expertise in consciousness. And in the Institute, we have had to learn, how do you help people heal? Because, that's just what we do. And learning the very best techniques, the very easiest techniques for helping people make huge shifts in what they're able to accomplish. So marrying those two, what I do now is help heart-centered entrepreneurs who have this passion and purpose that they want to get out there in the world, but who have hit some sort of glass ceiling, whether that's at the beginning or they've made some progress and there's some sort of glass ceiling that they've hit, and they've done all the mindset, right? They get the mindset, they're, yes, I want to do it, and it's still not working. um, that's that's
Yeah.
what I want to help people do, is get beyond that.
I've heard that before. So it's mindset is, absolutely right. Everyone talks about business is 80% mindset, 20% skill set, all that good stuff. It's
Exactly.
also a really great loophole for a lot of people in terms of owning ownership. Double there. So owning the results that they deliver for their clients. Now I've heard it before, which is, yeah, Kat, it's great. It just seems like you have a mindset problem. And this is why this isn't working for you, or something like that. So insert whatever coach experience you've had, whatever, consultant or whatever. And they're saying, you just seem to have a mindset issue, and they leave it at that. So what's your response when someone is told they have a mindset issue, even though they've, like you said, done the work and they've been, continuing to invest in themselves? What do you see from your experience?
Yes. The big people, the big thing that people don't understand, because even we as physicians don't get taught this. This is all stuff that I learned afterwards, just trying to look at why people can't change their behavior.
Hmm.
But our consciousness is not just one thing.
Mm.
Actually three main parts of consciousness that's connected with our brain, the three main parts of our brain, the triune brain model. And so one part of that is, I'll call it mind consciousness. And that's all about mindset. And that's the part of our brain that's all about understanding things, and that has thoughts and thinks and understanding. And when a coach says something, let's reframe that. So let's take failure. So if someone is like, oh my God, I can't fail. And I help them reframe that and go, okay, what if we started to look at failure is the first step of success, and talk about, maybe weightlifters or little toddlers learning to walk, those are all models of failure, and it can reframe that. And they can change their mindset instead of, oh my God, failure, I can't do it, to yes, let me fail forward, right? So that's a good example of how changing your mindset can work by that reframe. Then there's also our heart consciousness, which is all about connection. So you need that's where you play, Kat, is with connecting people in that heart-centered way with other people as far as leads, and not just getting them down to leads, but these are people, and following up and caring and being of service. And that part of our consciousness communicates with emotions. So if we're feeling panic or fear or anger, that's about heart consciousness. And then the real key is when we get down to, and I'm pointing to my belly, which you can't see, is where our body consciousness. That really is, in Freudian language, is the unconscious. And it's related to the part of our brain stem, which is, Seth Godin calls it the lizard brain.
Yep. Flight or flight.
Yes, the reptilian brain, right?
Right.
And when things happen, and often these are things that happen really, really early in life, really super early, and there's a message that gets in there that something is dangerous, your body, it'll just like fight or flight. It's not like, oh, let me think about that. If I can do that, it's like, oh my God, I'm frozen. There's just so much panic. We just shut ourselves down. And that's the piece either people don't recognize and say about, and we just lump it all up into it's about the mind, or the biggest thing is not knowing how to change that. Yep. And I call those things that are deeper than the mind, just the mindset of unconscious sand traps. Because just like the rest of the golf course, if you can play the rest of the golf course, how to do that, but you really have to operate differently in a sand trap. Now, I'm not a golfer, but I do know that is, the clubs you use and the stance and the whole, even the mindset about getting out is different. So you have to have a mindset about how do I deal with these unconscious unconscious sand traps.
That's a great analogy. And I love it, because even if you're golfing, there's always a sand trap. You have to be aware that there's sand traps in order to avoid them. And sometimes even the best golfers, right, as we've seen in the pros and the masters, get stuck in a sand trap as much as they plan and all that good stuff. So what are the clues, right, that you're in the sand trap, in that unconscious block, right? What are the things that people can clue into to be like, okay, it's not just me, but it is me, and I'm stuck and I'm blocked? What are the things that you should be looking for?
Well, I think it's anytime, as you said, your coach might say, oh, that's a mindset problem. So what I would suggest you, now that I've raised this, is go, oh, is it really my mindset and just a reframe? Or is this potentially an unconscious sand trap? So just being aware of that is a huge thing. So some of the red flags are going to be lots of emotion, right? And what I really encourage people to do is tune into their body. And when my coaches said, I'm in a program and I'm starting to take action. So if I'm starting to take action and then whoop, I'm off, I got to feed the cat, I got to do this, watch the cat videos, right? All those distractions, huge clue. And if you really tune in and pay attention, because most of the time we just skip over it, right? Maybe it's we're putting some sort of thing in our mouth, whether that's food or something else. Or we're off doing something else.
Right, we're just not doing the thing we're supposed to be doing.
Doing the thing. And often our mind is brilliant at coming up all the reasons we're not doing the thing, right? Or we're chasing the shiny object, or buying another program, right? Because we're not doing the program we're already in, right? Those are all clues. And if you can really, really just stop and notice, okay, I am in a sand trap that I'm not getting out of, and tune into your body and really listen and notice, oh my God, right in my solar plexus and my gut, there's like this knot. And when I really tune in there, it is complete and utter panic. Oh, who knew? Right? Because we're just reacting and we're skipping right over that.
So what's something like a laser tip or something like that that someone can do to start getting out of the sand trap? So, we've got, I can see people like going for the big club, right? And saying, we're just going to wallop ourselves out of this sand trap. And, I'm just going to, and I hear this, I'm just going to do the work, right? That's the go-to. I'm just going to do it. Well, if you were going to do it, you would have done it. So what's a sand wedge, right, that you can provide the listeners today that helps them start getting out of this sand trap?
Okay, so the first thing is noticing you're in it and just claiming it and owning it, because that's the biggest thing.
Right.
If we're always, well, it's this, I need a new coach, I need a new program, something out there.
You can't deny what's going on.
Exactly. And so when you can go, this is me, I'm keeping myself stuck, and really owning it, that is so empowering. It can be really vulnerable, because then it's all on us, right? And we can't.
It's not my fault.
It
can't be my fault again.
She didn't teach me the right thing, right? Right. And that is really the biggest thing, is empower and go, this is me.
Right.
And once you know that is you, I mean, there's different healing tools out there. I mean, EFT, I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yep, the tapping and all that. Yep.
There's one that you can use. There's, I mean, what I teach is actually a very simplified form of just 1-point tapping, but there's different nuances to it that work. But sometimes just actually allowing yourself to feel that, let's say we're with that huge panic in your gut, just going there, feeling that, and allowing it to be there. I think of it as listening to your body consciousness, and not medicating it with, cupcakes or a cocktail.
More sugar.
Sugar. Right, exactly, right? And that is the biggest tip. That is really the first thing. And until people get there and start to notice, oh, I am stuck in a sand trap. No wonder I can't get my ball into, whatever that hole is, and getting the hole in one and reaching the new revenue level, or, really working the program that they're in and doing the work, is like, I am in a sand trap.
So you're kind of going where my question was going to go, which is when you put these things in place, right? Because it's going to happen, right? You're not saying it never happens, but when it does, you can get out of it faster with the strategies that you teach. Absolutely. So what happens when you've got this process kind of working for you, and you're working the processes and doing the things you're doing in business? Like, what can people expect as a potential outcome for themselves?
Yeah. So that's the really exciting thing, is that when you start to heal these unconscious sand traps, then it starts to flow. So that's when we talk about flow in business, and it's just this sense of effortlessness. That is how life, whether it's business life or personal life, is supposed to be. Right. It is just supposed to flow. And when it doesn't, we get stuck. And when you release those, get out of that sand trap, it's like, oh, yeah, I'm on the green again. I know, now I know what to do. I can do that. And things just start to flow. And the cool thing is, when you're just doing this, kind of gritting it and making yourself do it, and kind of the willpower thing, if you're having to engage willpower to do something, there's an unconscious sand trap. Big tip. Okay. And that's not flow. And you can only do that so much. And sometimes the sand trap is so big that, and
it's an ocean.
It's an ocean. You cannot willpower yourself out of it.
Yes.
And I think it's a disservice that when coaches don't understand this, and there's something that they've done, and a mindset shift has been enough for them. And entrepreneurs, and I think especially women, that were particularly bad at this, in that we take that on. There's something wrong with me. I can't do it. If I could just be like so-and-so and do that, and it's my fault, right? And they don't have any other tips. And that's the biggest message I want to get out there. It's not. You're doing the mindset. That's great. You just didn't know about the unconscious sand traps. And that's what you need. That's what you need to figure out. And we have brilliant ways to do that, and it can just flow. So for example, just a really brief example
Sure.
is, let's say videos. Let's say someone is really uncomfortable with videos, and maybe they can even go back and remember in first grade when they got up and stood to give their presentation and something happened and the whole class laughed at them. Shame, humiliation, that gets stuck. And so whether they know it or not, that might actually be getting triggered every time they get in front of the camera, and they're just like, I just can't, I just won't, right? Maybe willpower they do, but it's not flowing. If you can find that unconscious sand trap, or a couple of them, and heal them, which sometimes is very, very simple, and then it's gone. And so it's not like every time you're doing that video, it's this effort and build yourself up and talk yourself up. It's just like, oh, of course I'm in front of the video. I mean, obviously, like you are, Kat. I mean, you're very, very comfortable, and my sense is you're having fun right now, right?
Oh,
When you
yeah,
do this.
absolutely.
Yeah. And some people are like, oh, I wish I could be like Kat and be like that, but I have so much anxiety or so much this or that. And when you can just heal that instead of having to,
Get over it. Yeah.
get over it,
Yeah.
right? Deal with it and gut it out and all of those sorts of things. That takes a lot of energy, and it makes business not fun, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that one of the big clues here is if you're avoiding doing something that, isn't something that you would have avoided before or whatever. I love this too, because it really hits on, and you talked about the glass ceiling, it really hits on the upper limit issues,
Yes.
right? So Gay Hendricks talks about, upper limit problems, right? So the glass ceiling. So what is blocking you? Something maybe you were even doing before that you're not doing anymore because all of a sudden something got triggered. You're playing a smaller game instead of leveling up to that next level. So I love that, how that comes together and really helps push someone, which ultimately comes down to making more money and creating more success in your business, right? So when you're doing the things and you're not wasting energy and you're not feeling like you're, always working in your business because you're doing more of the things you love, and because you're making money, you can delegate things. Like, it's just this huge key that unlocks this big door of possibilities. Mary, how can people get in touch with you? Because I'm sure there are going to be people who are going to be like, all right, I need to know more. I'm hitting these upper limits left and right. How can they find you?
Yeah, right now the best way, as I'm bringing this new thing out, is on Facebook. So Dr. Mary Pellicer on Facebook, and yeah, we've got lots of stuff planned, and it's like yes, I did this, starting to help women entrepreneurs and get through this. It's just like, this is my big message I want to get out there, and yeah, really excited about it.
So any parting words that you'd love to share with anyone listening, catching the replay, all that good stuff that, you want to let them know about?
The big thing is, first of all, just thank you for having me. And I think the big thing I want to say is the world needs you. What you're doing as an entrepreneur, the world needs you, whatever your niche is. And that's why, and I'm getting chilly bumps all up and down, right? And the people are out there suffering in all sorts of different ways, and they need your particular expertise and your level of caring for their other problem. And you can do it. You just need to understand that it's not just about mindset. And if someone tells me one more time to change my mindset, I'm going to scream. Just go, oh, wait a second, unconscious sand trap. It's something new. And okay, Dr. Mary says you can heal that. You can heal that. You just, again, have to have the mindset about wanting to heal that, realizing it's here, and just a few simple techniques.
I love that. I love that, pointing out what are the external indicators that this is happening. And, again, there are things that you can do about it. Mary, thank you. Or Dr. Mary, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, make sure you go check out and connect with her on Facebook.